Shout out to Mike from the podcast State of the Nation, hosting very controversial and very interesting interviews with different people who come from different school of thought. Recently, he was hosting a very articulate and very eloquent political analyst called Mr. SS. Mr. SS is very blunt and is very honest with his tongue. Yes, some say this man is a very sober analyst, and it is. So, Mr. Mike was asking a question: why is it that Julius Malema, if he's preaching all of this brotherhood, if he's preaching beating his chest up, that is a good leader, why is it that people closer to him are leaving him? Why is it that, and he was trying to reverse psychology the question and say, is he the problem? Like majority, why is it, that means he's the problem. But listen to this.
Malema failed to keep his inner circle together. Does that not tell you something about him? Because he's obviously a wannabe authoritarian figure. He said nobody better contest it, blah, blah, blah. I'm the commander-in-chief. I am the guy on the lift. He set himself up as this authority figure, but yet he couldn't even command his authority within his inner circle.
Yeah. So there are other things that are a problem with some of the examples that we're dealing with here. So, for instance, Floyd came from the ANC already. Dali was Zuma's lawyer, very close to Zuma. And he also came from the ANC. So this, unlike the Nazi Party, for instance, in Germany, people who joined the Nazi Party and joined Hitler from the start, Malema, to my mind, made a mistake by using second-hand materials, taking ANC members. Because when you look at these people that are called defections, actually a lot of them were people who were ANC loyalists, and some of them, I don't think there's anybody who doubts, and the DA had raised this issue, that Mkhwebane is a Zuma loyalist. She's a spy and is a Zuma loyalist. So if you look at Joseph Stalin, maybe if you want to talk about another dictator, if we're to use such models, again, the base from which he came was a new idea. Communism was a new idea. Socialism was a new idea. The Bolsheviks were a new idea. And Stalin consolidated within those people who were there. So he didn't have other people who had mentored these people or coached them politically outside of that. You look at Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. He's a dictator. He was a dictator. A PAP, when they formed PAP in the late 50s, it was a group of young men that started together from the start, and they maintained it till today. But and this is the same problem that Zuma has, because when you take building materials from somewhere else, like he has done, those people can still be persuaded even to go back to the ANC, by the way, because they've got other connections over there and other things. So I don't think it's a clear, straightforward comparison between people who are literally working virgin soil versus Malema. Malema thought he could build the EFF, and I think that was a strategic error with scrap material from the ANC.
Okay, so then you inadvertently may have mentioned a thing that I've been quite strong on. Do you not think that South Africa is very vulnerable to a movement that comes from outside of existing political structures? Right, and the thing that sort of makes me believe that this is that there's a wind of change blowing in Southern Africa. May not be a gale force wind, but it's happening. We've seen a turnover in Botswana. We saw the Mozambicans have to resort to rigging an election. The Namibians had to rig their election, etc., to stop people from outside of politics taking over.
Yes.
I've said many times on the State of the Nation that the next governing party in South Africa that will get a majority doesn't exist yet, and it won't come out of one of the political structures. Do you think that South Africa is vulnerable to this?
No. In terms of vulnerability, yes, the simple answer is yes. And so I could have been misreading the situation. So when I read young men like Ndlozi, Dr. Ndlozi, I would have thought that they are the ones who are starting to emerge to lead on a basis that is not linked to the old comrades and all that sort of thing. And I've heard people saying, Sandile, don't you think that we should get rid of these guys, the whole political lot, and actually start something totally new without them? And I think you are correct in saying whether it's going to happen in South Africa is another matter. But as a distinct possibility, it is possible that people who just get sick and tired of the DA, sick and tired of the ANC, can organize themselves and then launch us in a new direction. That is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, and I just see the entire landscape being ready for that. And I've mentioned it before, and please, it might be that your ultimate credibility lies in the fact that you have never been a member of a party, right? If you have in the past been an ex-member of this party or that party, may count against you, is what I see happening.
You heard Mr. SS. He always has a way, to counter-attack a question, to counter-attack any narrative, because he can see it. He can see that, no, man, this man is trying to do something. He's trying to force me to say something that will favor maybe his preconceived worldview of Julius Malema or whatever. So he saw it. That's why it's like, even your examples, the ones you're using, and then he started bringing up proper examples of proper dictators, proper people who are great leaders. But what's wrong with people betraying you? So if people decide to betray you as a leader, that means you are the problem. That's not always the case. People can betray you for other things. There's opportunities out there. They can betray you because of jealousy. They can betray you for different things. People can be bought by outside forces to betray you. So why is it that everyone is trying to force that narrative of, no, Floyd betrayed, Floyd left the EFF because of Julius Malema? It's Julius Malema's fault. Can never be another man's fault for a man to betray his own. Can never be my fault that the brotherhood, a friend of mine, close proximity, decided to betray me, sell me out, go in public and denounce me, denounce the brotherhood, denounce the friendship. It can never be my fault that me, I call this man my brother. He's my brother. This man goes out there and says, this guy is not my brother. This guy, no ways. This thing of brotherhood is all about gangster relationship, and me and this guy will don't do gangster shit. It can never be my fault that someone decides to say that to the public and to everyone out there. How can it be? But yeah, we live in a world whereby it's your fault, my man. It's your fault. Anyways, it's your fault, and there's no any other way around it. But shout out to Mr. SS. He managed to counter-attack that a conversation real quick and bopper it like this. But thank you very much.